Welcome everybody to another, oh my goodness, another episode of She Shift. Okay, you guys, hold on. We're getting ready to go soon. We're going live somewhere else. See if we can get us. Okay. Here we go. Oh my goodness, y'all. I can't even believe it. Let's see. Okay, we're live in two places. Isn't that cool? I'm so excited. So everybody, before we get started, I wanted you all to go get I always give you three assignments. So the first one is go grab your girlfriend and girlfriends, family members and all. Grab your pen and paper and look, I got mine. Grab your evening beverage. Now, it is a healthy drink. As you all know, I am on my health journey. As I'm talking about health journey, I would love to hear, what is your go-to snack? Drop it in the feed and let me know, what is your go-to snack? I'd love to hear it. I'm not trying to eat a whole bunch of snacks, but I would love to hear what you do. What's your go-to snack in the evening? But before we go any further, before I bring on another amazing guest, as I always do, I want to ask you something. Do you ever think about your what's next? Do you ever say to yourself, did I miss my chance? So let me tell you something. My what's next didn't start until after I was 40. From there, I wasn't even athletic. I didn't like to go to the gym. I didn't like to do anything. But after 40, I promise you, that's when I fell in love to doing some movement. I fell in love with being a co-owner. I am a co-owner of a event planning business with my friend Katie Browder Person, and our event planning business is See You Downtown. From there, I've started building a brand 5 years ago. So note this, everyone, that it's not too late. And so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Pamela Stone. I help women over 40 to rediscover, reignite, and rise to your what's next, whatever your what's next is. And so again, I would like to welcome you to She Shift. Today's conversation is for women who are navigating their identity, their confidence, and purpose in this season of life. Because let's be honest, somewhere along the way, and I know I've heard it, but I'm sure many of you have heard, where we're taught that that we've already had our chance and that we now need to sit down. And that's not true. That's why I've created She Shift. But let me tell you who I have today. So today's guest is here to help us overcome some of those financial woes that we have been facing and that has really kept us in the box, or yeah, I would say in the box. And so I say that is because I've seen a lot of women that are over the age of 45, and I ask them, how are they with their finances? What do they feel like their finances at? How they feel about them? And I get a lot of them that are scared, they haven't started, and yet some are feeling that it's the fear of that they're too late. So let me tell you who I have on, bringing on the floor with me. I have Chamie Thompson. She's a certified financial planner and a founder of Elevated Wealth Advisory Group. It is a boutique wealth management firm based here in Columbus, Ohio. She holds a degree in computer science, applied mathematics, and financial engineering from the Ohio State University and Kent State University. Her firm specializes in comprehensive, personalized financial planning and coordinating clients' goals, values, and monies at every level. So, without further ado, and now we get to kick off with this month's financial literacy. Chamie Thompson, how are you doing, lady?
Good. Thank you for having me here today. I think this is an awesome opportunity to share. Like you
Yeah.
just
Would you
make
like
some,
to
yeah.
is there anything else you would like to add for our listeners to know more about you?
Oh, I think you've done excellent. I mean, I love to travel. I have a motorcycle. I have a puppy. So there's lots to share. But mainly, I want to enjoy life the way God intended it. So that's my purpose.
I love it. I love it. Well, let's just jump in here, Ms. Chamie. As we talked earlier, you have the degrees in computer science, applied mathematics, financial engineering, and then you
Yes.
built this amazing company,
Yes.
which I'm so excited to hear more about. What was the moment you knew that that was your what's next?
So the what's next came in little morsels, or like the Hansel and Gretel trail, right? So I don't, as you see, I don't have a finance degree. I've always been a curious person by nature. I've always wanted to help people. So I actually started in mathematics and engineering, and then I had a quarter life crisis after my stint at the Ohio State University, and I was like, what do I want to do? None of those seemed like a perfect fit. So I loved finance, and I found a financial engineering program. Like, let's pivot there. So I went there for grad school, and that's what opened my eyes up to markets and risk management and money, making money and hedging and options, all these things that I had no awareness of. And on top of that, you use math and computers to figure things out. So I kept going down that path in risk management, ended up at banks utilities. And then honestly, I was here in Columbus, Ohio at AEP, and I got laid off. So that was a little unexpected. And God doesn't make mistakes, because it gave me that pause. So it's like, okay,
Absolutely.
what am I supposed to be doing? And what are the things you like and what are the things you don't like with your role? And what would you like? And it really gave me time to focus and, like, you know what? I want to be in the community. I want to help people. I want freedom of schedule. I don't like this whole corporate ladder thing. Right. And it's like, where else could I do that and help people tied to financial markets? And lo and behold, because I had no exposure as a young person to a financial advisor or planner, I was like, wait, that's a financial advisor. So I started researching, how can I pivot as someone that did not have a finance degree but has a passion for problem solving and people. And I started my career at Edward Jones. Loved it there, met great people, but felt like I needed to build my own as a Black female in this industry with the experience of my problem solving, with my engineering background, risk management. I wanted to build something on my own to not only cater to the traditional investor, but women, people of color, first generational investors, people that you mentioned that feel like it's too late and just need some accountability or some a seed of hope. That's where I feel like I was being called. So that's my long-winded elevator speech in terms of, like, I did not wake up at the age of 6 and 7 like, I'm going to be an owner of a financial planning. No, that never dawned on me until I went through that. I zigged and zagged along that path.
So when you let's back up a little bit. When you
Sure.
were in the corporate and you paused, and let's be honest, so many of us, when we hear that word pause, a lot of women say they feel anxiety. When you
Mm,
face the pause, and it's the anxiety comes from the unknown. So when you face the pause, how did you handle your pause, and how long did you even pause during that transition time?
that is a great question. I took it as a breath of, like, I got off the hamster wheel. I literally slung off the hamster wheel, and it made me pause. I have all this education. I guess I'm confident, like, I'm not going to be unemployed forever, right? It's just
Right.
a matter of when and what. So I started exercising. I started journaling. I had the whole week. It's like a preview of retirement. I had the whole week to schedule it out, to explore, to take personal assessments, to talk to
Nice.
people, so I took it as, I didn't have that fear because I knew I was young. I'm smart. I had this confidence that I just need to talk to God, pray, get in my prayer
Yes.
closet, and, like, okay, you close that door abruptly for a reason. Um, and I need to be patient, and I need to just explore. Be conscious, like, I cut a whole bunch of stuff. I went to my budget, like, okay, we got to cut some things, right? We don't
Right.
know, but be sure. But I took it as an opportunity to breathe. Like, where so many of us are waiting to exhale, especially as women, caretakers.
Mm,
Only thing I had to do when I got up in the morning was to learn about me, to learn what else was out there. That's how I took it. And then my friends were like, my friends are crying on the phone. I'm like, why are you crying? Like, do you
right.
really think I'm gonna be unemployed for the rest of my life? Do you really think that's no? This is happening for a reason. And
And
it's
that's
giving me time to get the clarity.
and that's why I was saying that, because look, your friends just it had solidified what I said.
Mm-hmm.
So many women that they pause and they feel the anxiety level climbing up here, and they feeling like, oh my goodness, what are we going to do? But what I really love is that you took it as peace, and you just strive with it. And it's good for women to see, to enjoy that moment, and get to know you. I think that's also the part too. that when you do become that pause and when you do have that pivot, that means now you have to really get to know you, which I'm so excited about. But a lot of women don't know where to start at.
Yeah, definitely
So,
embrace it. And it actually went fast. I think it was, I have to think, I think it was about maybe 4 to 6 months. I can't even remember. But it
yeah,
went by fast. Because then after, once you get back to the grind, you're like, maybe I
yes,
should have taken another, maybe I should have taken another month on that
right,
start date. So um, time goes by fast. So I do appreciate that I got that breath and I had clarity because I
wow,
wasn't making reports for anybody, I wasn't um, beholden to what we
yes,
need to do for the shareholders. I had time for Chamie as a young, black female to figure out what is the next step. Look, and I was kind of taught fail. Fail stands for first attempt in learning. So
that's
what?
right,
If I go do something and I fail, okay, do I need to readjust or need to do something different? That's
right.
that's how the environment I was raised in.
That is so awesome. So
Yeah.
as you pivot, as you did to the pause and you pivot, is that when you had where you had created your elevated wealth? So let me ask you this: or can you describe to me elevated wealth as revolutionary, the way real planning should be? What's broken about the traditional financial planning, and what does the elevated version look like to you?
I love that question because I think it's different approach as a woman and as a person of color because like you mentioned, we might feel shame. So my goal
Mhm.
instantly is to help you feel comfortable. I do in my office. We got candy here. We got soft plush environment because we're anxious to talk about our money. So first thing I'm thinking about the environment, building up the trust so you can open up. You go to other places, it's a sterile environment. They get right down to business. Let's see your statements. Let's see, do you have enough to invest with us? Come back later when you have more money. Nobody wants to feel that way. They
Right.
really want to know they have somebody that's going to see them as a person, meet them where they are without any kind of shame being put onto them, and really like, hey, I'm here for you at your pace, at your knowledge level, and that's where we're starting. So I say I work with the traditional investor, but I also recognize there are people that are still seeking knowledge, still seeking comfort, understanding their own money scripts and fears to even get to that step. So that's why I say it's revolutionary. It's about the relationship. It is about
Mm,
understanding who is your family structure. We have so many different family structures. It's not the husband, wife, 2.5 kids, and a white picket fence, right? Are you taking care of your parents? Are you taking care
right.
of extended family members? What keeps you up at night? So I would just say to wrap this up, I want to get down to understanding dynamics we're working with, your fears, your goals, and your personality type to help get to the engineering part and build the plan. But I really want to translate what you're telling me so I can really understand the steps and the process to get you there, right? In a
Yeah.
comfortable fashion. I want you to feel comfortable
Mhm.
because that's going to build confidence. I'm all about financial confidence.
And that's good because you're right. Women, some women hearing the word financial, again, like I said, they felt anxiety. So I love that you are creating the environment that they come in and they're relaxed and knowing that they're in a safe space. I love that. I love
Mhm.
that. So many women in our community are stepping into their what's next, new careers, businesses, reinventing after divorce or loss. And finances feel a little bit and they can't get past that. What would be the first thing you would tell that woman?
First, take a deep breath. All right. Let's just take a deep breath for a moment. Rome wasn't built overnight. Let's really be realistic. So let's give ourselves grace, right? Think about divorce. Divorce,
Mm,
you are mourning a period of time over the loss of a relationship and the after effect of that. Let's take a minute. Let's give ourselves grace, right? Let's not be hard on ourselves. Let's go at your pace. And I have plenty of people cry in my office. That's okay. That's a cleansing process. That's a healing process, right? There could have been some financial trauma with the divorce, right? So
true.
really being conscious of that process, whatever pace we need to take. That when I'm providing a recommendation, you're ready for it, right? Um, it's not a cookie cutter recommendation. It's some thought felt recommendation based on your personality and where you are. But realize to take a deep breath, relax. We're going to have a conversation. I don't like to use meetings. I like to say like
Mhm.
appointments. Who wants an appointment? Ooh, like, let's have a conversation. Let's keep the conversation going. I have an agenda. I try to keep us on track. But if we need to spend some extra time, we're just going to push the rest of that to the next conversation, because we really need to make sure that we're working together in partnership. Doesn't mean we're not going to talk about investment recommendations or insurance or all those other things, but once we get through that, that foundation needs to be set. Does that make sense? And sometimes you might not be ready. We might have a conversation like, you know what, I need to come back in 6 months, or I need to come back in a year. I'll be here, right? That happens all the time. I'm not one to rush anybody, right? I'm not trying to drag you. I'm trying to walk next to you.
Oh, I love that. And so, as we are talking about, let's shift a little bit. So, now this is Financial Literacy Month. And one thing I want to ask you, women over 45 are often late starters when it comes to investing, either because they were deferred to due to spouse or just surviving. Is it too late for them to get into it? And what's actually possible at this stage?
I'm an optimist by nature, and I'm like, as long as we have breath in our body and God woke us up, there's not too late. Okay, that mindset first. Hopefully, we can get out that mindset, but it's not too late. And if you're in your spirit and you're here in my office, then something's calling you, right? It's not too late,
Right.
right? So let's see where we can get started. Let's make a plan, right? And if we need to adjust, we need to adjust. But not doing anything is an action. In essence, ignoring is action, but is it the best option to just ignore it, or to
Right.
feel like it's too late? How does that make you feel? Now, if you can live with that decision, right? But most of us really, really, truly probably don't want to
Mm.
live with that. And I don't want to have regrets. And I know people don't want to have regrets. So I just say, it's going to be uncomfortable. But if we're going to be uncomfortable, I'd rather be pushing towards a goal than just sitting
Right.
still.
I agree with you. I agree. Let me tell you, if those of you don't know, I worked with Chamie. So as what she is, as she's portraying, she does this, and she makes you feel so welcome, and she makes you feel like, okay, I can do this. There is so much hope and possibility. I can do this. So I want everyone to get out of their mindset saying I'm too late and I can't do it. Chamie said we can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And let me ask you this, Chamie, because I did have someone say, "Well, I'm ready to invest." Is there a right amount or a certain amount, or is there something they should do or shouldn't do? What would you tell that person?
I would say, based on our budget, if I've had people start with $25 a month, $50 a month. I mean, I know how we like to go to brunch and do this. So take some of our brunch money, take some of that. If we can just scrape together something and get into the habit and a discipline of that habit, and then keep increasing it. What happens is, I've noticed people become almost addicted to it. Like, oh wow, they watch their account. Like, wow, this last year I said that I want, and then next thing you know, like, I want to do more. I want to do more. So once you can get that flywheel going, you establish the habit, and you can see the results. Even when the market's fluctuating, the trend is your friend. It's not the everyday. I don't watch it every day. It's like washing
Right.
the pot. Don't do that. But at least you're headed to a goal. You are taking action. So I say you got to get started. Take the first step. Take the first step. How do you eat an elephant? One
That's,
bite at a time.
that's
So
right.
we just have to get started and keep moving.
So again, let's go back to it's Financial Literacy Month. What would you like to tell people? What is one thing that you would like to tell all our listeners about the financial literacy?
Absolutely. I think the very fact that we're in a day and age, let's talk about, I love AI. I'm an AI nerd geek now. First it was, the internet, then it's like YouTube and Google, and now we have AI. I mean, there's so many tools that help us stay on track, to help us learn, to bounce ideas um, off the wall, for us to take those steps and encourage us. The main thing, I would say it over and over, taking the steps,
Mhm.
taking the steps is so important.
I like that. Well,
So
retirement is used to mean stopping, but our audience isn't stopping now. As we're starting to hear, we're seeing hearing many women are starting to launch their own businesses. How do you help women plan for what's next that doesn't look like the traditional retirement?
absolutely. So yeah, retirement, that word is being redefined. Most people are not retiring and sitting in a rocking chair and just watching the grass grow, right?
Um,
It's usually, it might be retiring from corporate, or retiring from one job to the next. So we have to take all those variables into consideration to see what that looks like. If it's from going from corporate to being a business owner, or commercial property, whatever that looks like. the numbers don't lie. So
Right.
using some of the financial planning software to get that in there, to look at it prior. So what, measure twice, cut once kind of thing. Looking at what that next chapter. So you might be technically retired or starting, maybe you're starting your social security or pension, but you can still do other things. And we want to understand those other things so we don't make mistakes with taxes or things along the way that we should be really considering. So yes, retirement. Sometimes people are semi-retired. That whole, are you fully retired? Are you semi-retired? Are you working on your own? There's just so many different ways to look at it, and it's a very personalized approach, right? In terms of how that's going to play out.
Okay. You talk about coordinating goals and values and money. That's not typically a financial advisor language. What does it mean to align your money with your values, and why does it matter more than just picking investments?
Right. So there's a narrow focus on the invest. I think at this day and age, most people realize that, investing most likely is statistically going to help you beat inflation, get to your goals versus stuffing it under a mattress. I think we all kind of understand that. So it has to be bigger than that. What's the goal? Who's in that vision? What motivates you, right? Is there someone motivating you? Is it, I want to help my grandkids get through college. I want to help my parents have a comfortable last quarter of life. I want to be able to travel. So usually when we have a vision, like a vision board, right? That's going to help us define, like, well, how much does that cost? And we're going to reverse engineer into how do we get there? Most of the things we're talking about are not free, right? Of course, there's community service and all those other philanthropic things, but what if we want to give to our church? What does that look like? That I have enough, I put my oxygen mask on first, but I can still give to my community and my church. So I think once we put a vision or put a label on it and we can visualize it, we believe that we can do it. And now it's just putting the steps in place and we know where we're going, right? So it really helps clarify why we're doing the investment, right? We know why we're doing that investment or that account and why we're putting that much away and maybe delaying some instant gratification now.
Ooh, wait a minute. You said delayed gratification.
Look, yes, I said that.
It. I felt it.
I snuck that in there real quick.
Right there. Oh my goodness. But and it's true. I'm sure that we're like, oh my goodness, she said delayed, but it's true. But we do have to, what is important to you. But I felt the delayed gratification. It did hit me a little hard here, Miss Chamie. As this has been so much fun, and our time is, oh my goodness, almost dwindling down. If somebody wants to get connected to you or they want to follow you, how can they, and where can they follow you at?
So I'm a geriatric millennial, so I do social media, but I don't really do social media. So because of compliance as well. So I'm on LinkedIn. I am heavily on LinkedIn. So you can find me under my name, Chamie Townsend, on LinkedIn. I would love to connect with you. My website, you can check it out, is myelevatedwealth.com. I have tons of resources. I put a lot of resources and time into that website. So even I never hear from you, if you can just look on there, I hope to hear from you. But if not, just look at the resources, see what's available, the calculators, the tools as you're on your financial literacy journey, and we can have a conversation. So I would say those are the main two ways. My email address, very simple. It's my name. It's Chamie at myelevatedwealth.com. Clean my inbox daily, so I will respond within 24 business hours if you reach out to me.
I love it. So speaking of My Elevated Wealth, what is your what's next?
Yes. So I'm super excited. We kind of talked about this before, but I'm embracing some tools changes, system changes to help with productivity. I have a part-time team member joining in July, so I'm preparing for that. So we're growing. It'll be two and a half, if you want to consider it, locally with my remote team as well, additionally. So my goal is to preserve that white glove experience for my clients. And I want to build out that dream team here, Elevated Wealth. I want to continue to motivate people to come and have the capacity to help. I am seeing such an influx of professional Black women, peer group, that they're ready. And I want to be ready for them with that type of service.
Oh, that's nice, Cam. I think that's that is so, look, if we can do it as a team, the success rate is much higher. success rate. So I
I want to
love
start. I want to
seeing.
start doing more social events. I get this. That's why I don't do the event planning. So this person is going to help do some events, the mingling, what if we just had a fireside chat, sipping some
Right.
wine, discussing wealth, discussing vision, discussing dreams in this
Oh my
environment
goodness.
that we're not going to support each other. There's no shame.
Right.
We are going to help hold each other accountable on this journey.
Oh, I love that. Keep me informed because I definitely want to do that.
I will.
Before we get into, look, I love the whole interviewing with you amazing women. And so the next part I do is rapid fire. But before I get there, I got one more question for you. What do you want every woman listening to walk away from tonight about financial freedom, about financial future?
Financial future. I want the women listening here to understand. I think we've said this, like, understand just to get started, to change your mindset. Mindset is so powerful. Okay. Change the mindset. I used to think it was silly. Self talk is powerful. So even if
Mhm.
we just start saying, because before I would start Elevated Wealth, I started saying, I am a CEO. I am a CEO. I've got to get used to that. So even if we start saying, I am wealthy, I'm safe, I'm all these things that we internalize, we have to speak it, we have to speak it and
True.
pray over it. So just even if today you just start doing some self-talk to help with your mindset, it's going to shift your actions and your behaviors.
I so agree with you. Okay, Miss Cammy, at this point of the show, I do rapid fire and I just ask you questions and you just say what comes on the top of your mind. Are
Okay,
you ready?
I am ready. It's the end of the
Woo!
day. I'm doing my best. It's been a long day.
I know that's right. I understand. I understand. Let me ask you this: budget app or spreadsheet?
Ooh, okay. So I'm such a hyper person. I'm gonna say both, and here's why. Okay,
Okay.
I still am a spreadsheet person, and if I need
Mhm.
to just look at the ideal world and what ideally should be happening, I'm gonna look at that like on an ideal monthly basis. Even with some of the variable things, ideally these are where I should be within a certain tolerance. But then the app, because I'm not gonna go to and add up all my expenses, but the app's gonna tell me right away where the money's going,
True.
and then I can glance at, okay, this month, and it's gonna be ebbs and flow. Like summertime, I might be outside more. So okay, what does that look like versus the wintertime when I'm hibernating, right? So I love both. I really love the app for real time, instant looking and viewing.
I
Um,
love it.
as well as reconcile. This might say, well, I check my credit card at least once a week because I'm just
Me
really on
too.
it because I know where that balance should be and where it shouldn't be. Okay,
Right.
that's how I keep myself in check when I'm having conversations with myself about my own plans and goals. So I'm a little bit of both, but I don't go into the spreadsheets that often. It's
Mm,
really the app. But if I need to touch base or really think about it, I
yes.
go to that spreadsheet.
I love it. Look, I have learned from you. I do check. Look, I had to have a reality check with myself. So I start looking at my accounts every day and it makes me hold myself accountable. So that is one thing I do every day. And it's nothing, whatever it is, whatever, but knowing that I'm in and I can go in there and look at it and like, okay, and I can just see where everything is and make sure I'm on track. So I've been doing that for a year
And
now.
don't you feel like you're in control? That gives you
Oh
that
my,
power. Once
so
you start feeling in control,
oh my
baby.
goodness. It is so everyone's like, you check, I go every day. And some people I've said, it was for me every day. And it was I said versus never doing it. So every day worked for me. But yeah, I do. I know it's a little obsessed, but that's what I do. So real quick, what money habit every woman should start today?
I think we kind of hit on it just looking at it. I think there's a lot of
Mhm.
avoidance. I call it the ostrich, head in sand syndrome.
Oh my
And
goodness.
sometimes it's not pretty, right? We got to look at it. We have to face it. And
Yeah,
then that's the only way we can make the plan. You have to have a starting point.
that's true.
So we have to look at it no matter what, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Like we have to look at it.
You're
So if we
right.
can get into that habit, and what works for you might be different. Maybe it's daily, maybe it's weekly, maybe it's monthly. I think when you get past monthly, things could get a little off track personally. So I
I
think somewhere in that cadence, right, to really see, because think of a company. How do companies work? Does a CFO
right.
not check the accounts, right?
Right.
So you are a company, you are a brand, you have future valuation, and we have to walk in that space.
I
So
agree. I agree. Biggest financial myth you're tired of hearing?
oh, Oh, some of these things where you could feel like you could just get rich really quickly, right? It's no different than I'm going to lose 30 pounds in a week.
Right.
Okay. Let's
That's
suppose that does happen. And then what happens if you go back to your old habits, right?
right.
So I think it's more about daily, consistent things. And unfortunately, there's no instant gratification from doing this, right? It might take you some time to see some results. It's all about habits, it's all about mindset. So I wish people would embrace, like, I'm changing my lifestyle, I'm changing my habits. I'm not just doing something temporarily because we're going to go back and mean revert to where you
Oh,
were.
so true. Stocks or real estate?
Both. Why not both? I mean, look at your risk tolerance, look at your goals. You could own stocks in various ways. You could own them outright. You could own them in a mutual fund ETF. You could own real estate outright. You could own it in a real estate. There's so many different ways because ideally you want to stay diversified within your time horizon, your risk tolerance, all those things. But I don't know, say you would necessarily limit yourself to one or the other. Now, if there's some kind of version or some reason, right, we would take that in consideration.
Okay. The one purchase you'll never regret.
Oh, so I thought, what should one purchase I would not regret? And it's going to sound, I mean, everyone has them at this point, but really getting into smartphones. I had to think about this. So I'm going to date myself here, but I remember my Blackberry.
Uh-uh.
I had a pink Blackberry, as a matter of fact. But just getting into the smartphone game, when I started thinking about that, and most of us have it now, but the way that we can access things, our emails, the communication, the internet, all these things, I think that was pivotal, and for me in terms of being a future CEO and how I pivot. I have my phone. There's everything on here. If I wanted to, I could place trades on here. I have my
Right.
calendar. I have my obviously the email. I have all my applications. I have my CRM. I have everything's on here. This is powerful. This is amazing. It's going to continue to get better, right?
So
So
true.
it's not just a necessity for calling people or listening to music or playing games, right? It really is an office to go when it needs to be. If I don't
So
have my
true.
laptop.
I agree. What's your treat? What do you treat yourself without guilt?
Yes. So I love that. So I am going to say I am a vacation person. So that I have to be mindful of my travel, but I love travel. I was just in Panama earlier. I've been to Ghana. I've been to Australia. I carve out, in my goals, travel. It's important for me to get that time to explore the world and to see other people's perspectives and to learn and to see how I can grow from things not just in Columbus, Ohio, or the US, but in different places from different people. So that's important to me. Um, and then I would caveat, if it's not that, then definitely the gym and a massage somewhere in there to get that self care, the
Right.
sauna. Yeah, just really taking care of your body and cleansing.
Mhm. What's one book every woman should read about money?
All right. So I had to put on my desk. I found this. It's called the Financial Stewardship Bible. Okay. And it's an older version, but it's really intriguing to me because all the verses are already highlighted. Any verse that has to do with financial stewardship is
Yes.
highlighted. The
Oh,
Bible has a lot of different things in here that are applicable to today. Within here, there's small group questions. There's all kinds of things about investing. I just turned to that. Investing, gambling, inheritance. One of the oldest texts that we know has a lot of um, real life examples of how we can be a good financial steward, right? So
yes.
I found this, I keep it on my desk. A lot of my clients are faith based. So if there's elements that we want to take a look at, I try to, find some basis and some foundation there. I love it, and I thought I would share that with you.
I
I
love
could
it.
plug, and I have, may I plug my book? May I plug my book real quick?
Yes,
Okay, so of
absolutely.
course there's a chapter in Pretty Mind. I wrote this. Gosh, it's coming up. Well, not quite a year, but I wrote this last year, and it's all about Pretty Mind, which is putting repeatable effort towards transforming yourself. And I have a whole section on money matters in here. There's some journaling opportunities, things that really make you think about why you think about money certain ways and how to journal about those obstacles and how to move forward.
So how can someone get your book?
Oh, it is on Amazon.com.
I love it. So last question. Finish this sentence.
Mhm.
Wealth is not just about money. It's about
I said it before, it's about confidence. Confidence. Think about when you've paid off a debt. Think about how if you've reached a goal or if you see a certain number in your account, if your emergency cash is where it should be, we walk a little bit differently. We might toss our hair. We feel better. We generally feel more safe and secure. So I would say that I try to aspire to get my clients to feel that level of confidence financially.
I love it. Well, Cammie, this was our time is up.
This went
Believe it
fast.
or not, this went really fast. I want to thank you so much. Again, one more time, if someone wants to get in touch with you, where can they find you or get in touch with you?
Sure. So I say you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. You can search my name, Chamie Townsend. You can look on my website, myelevatedwealth.com, as well as my email, Chamie, Chamie, at myelevatedwealth.com. So I look forward to hearing from you.
Miss Cammie, I appreciate you. I'm going to put you in the green room. Don't hang up yet, but I'll be right back with you.
Okay. Thank you. Take care, everyone.
Okay, y'all. Now, again, as look, we had another amazing guest who has dropped many nuggets. She talked about her what's next. She talked about her company. We talked about financial wealth, and we needed to because this month is all about financial literacy. I did that because I've come in contact with many men and women, but more so women who has that fear of finance, who has that fear or hasn't even started and don't know where to start. So we just created just a little bit of, we dropped some nuggets and now you know where you can go pick it up from there. Well, you guys, again, this was amazing. I appreciate you. If you have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the feed. I've been trying to look, now I'm on 4 different platforms, so I apologize. But if I missed you, please keep sending me the text messages. I won't I know I can't answer them because this is not my lane, but I definitely will pass them along to Cammie. I also want to drop this and let you know tonight's show was sponsored by Vision Made magazine, the magazine that is a live vision board. We help women to go after their what's next in a vision board manner. If you're interested in gaining a copy of Vision Made magazine, text me at 614-674-0074 and put text magazine and I'll give you a copy of it on me. Well, you guys, I appreciate you and I hope you know that your shift is right around the corner and I want you to go after it. And don't let no one else tell you that it can't be done because of age, because age doesn't matter. It's just a number. So until then, everyone, I want you to take care of yourself and know that you rock. Bye, everybody.